for a second, because as a part of this post-election analysis, the topic of race has, of course, come up, and whether identity politics was overemphasized over kitchen table issues. But much was written during the election about the Harris campaign's de-emphasis on her identity versus combating Trump, abortion rights, and the economy. And frankly, I wonder if race and identity were de-emphasized to Democrats' peril, as the party tries to retain voters of color and other groups that were disparaged by Republicans, Trump included. During the past election cycle, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I've always said this conversation we need to have is not about moving left or right. It's not about identity politics or just focusing on economic populism. It's about centering an agenda focused on the working class, which includes black, brown, and white folks, and their struggles to get ahead, their feelings of being forgotten and left behind, and frankly, their hopes to build a better life for themselves and their families. That's really what this is about. And that's the thing that connects all of us across race, across this country, is the fact that people are working harder than they've ever worked before and feeling like they can't get ahead, feeling like the American dream is not within reach, right? Feeling like they can't save enough money to take a vacation or put their kids through college or even retire with dignity, right? People are feeling a lot of economic anxiety, and that's people across all race, across all classes, across all parts of this country. And we need to get back to focusing right now on the things that connect all of us. And that is really the hope and the dreams of actually achieving the American dream, which seems so out of reach for most Americans.
Now, if anyone knows where the Democratic Party's challenges are right now, it's you. You've been chair of the Minnesota State Party for 13 years and vice chair of the National Party for 7 years. You also led the Association of State Democratic Chairs. Now you're running to succeed Jamie Harrison as national chair, and you have the endorsement of 83 DNC members, a pretty good chunk of the party. What do you see as the party's chair role over the next few years?
Well, first off, I'm honored to be able to run after Jamie Harrison. He's been a fantastic chair. And I will tell you that what we need to do is we need to build this party in every community and every zip code. We need to be making sure that we're partnering with our 57 state parties and that we're contesting races up and down the ballot. It is absolutely critical that our party is not just a party focused on federal races. We have to do that. Of course, we have to win back the Congress. Of course, we have to win back the presidency in 4 years. But we also have to make sure that we're contesting races, not just state legislative races, but races deep down ballot, including city councils, school boards, county boards, and mayoralships. We've seen the disastrous results of indifference of focusing on school boards, as the Moms for Liberty group have taken over and pushed a far-right agenda, including banning books and changing curriculum and whitewashing history. And so we know as a party we have to be organizing in every single zip code, and we need to make sure we're contesting every race. And that's what I'll do as the next DNC chair.
While there's time, I want to ask you about whether criminal justice reform, specifically policing reform, should be a prominent part of the Democrats' agenda moving forward. I've spent a lot of time in your state of Minnesota when dealing with the police killing of George Floyd and then Dante Wright. Governor Tim Walz was involved. I remember when I got to Minneapolis to do the eulogy for George Floyd, of the first of three funerals, that I called Governor Walz and was among those that encouraged him to appoint Keith Ellison, the Attorney General, as the special prosecutor, who went on to successfully prosecute those cases. Is police reform, criminal justice reform, things you think should still be at the top of the party's concerns?
Absolutely, it should be. And I'll tell you, we had a really tough conversation in Minnesota around policing and violence after George Floyd was murdered. We've worked to heal our community since then, and we have a long way to go. But every family and neighborhood wants to feel safe and wants policing that helps them feel safe rather than targeted. But again, the Democratic Party has always been the party that stands for the oppressed, the marginalized, and those who feel voiceless. That has not changed. I'm proud to have the support of Attorney General Keith Ellison in my bid for DNC chair. You're right to say that he was front and center of this important conversation about police violence in our state. We have a long ways to go, as I said. But, I think the Minnesota DFL and what we've done here serves as a model of what we can do around the nation, of centering the struggles and centering those who feel voiceless in our communities. Yes, it should be. And as long as I'm the chair here, and if I'm the chair of the DNC, it's going to continue to be a part of the conversation.
And I might add, police reform is not anti-police. I think it's pro-police. It makes it fair for everyone, and it does not make all policemen look like they are doing what happened to George Floyd or Dante Wright in Minnesota. Ken Martin, thank you for being with us.